in world-level events, and he won his first bout. That just shows you there's some longevity in Greco-Roman wrestlers. They save their knees a little bit more. They're not constantly taking offensive penetration steps like they do in freestyle, and they can stay up on their feet and fight.
Just think about that. Really put it into perspective. 98, over 20-plus years. Health and the mental toll it takes. It's an impressive feat.
It is. And in that time, you were just talking about the rule changes. How many rule changes has he seen? I mean, the thought of having to grab a colored ball that was in a bag, inside of a bag, to see who would get a lock. And in freestyle, who would get a leg to start in sudden victory or in overtime. Makes you look at the criteria and know, at least you know what the criteria is. I know I have to score it last, or I have to have the higher point move, where you were drawing a ball out of a bag to really see who was going to win.
The old lottery pick almost.
My goodness.
No score yet here in this first period with KEBISPAYEV and FIRAT. KEBISPAYEV in the blue for Kazakhstan, and we will get the first passivity and a chance for FIRAT to go parterre. Keep that thought just for a moment. We're going to watch this parterre, and then I want to circle back a little bit. FIRAT getting into his position. See the defense underneath. Trying to trap the arm and roll him over, and he does. Well, there's some craft with that roll by FIRAT. Nicely done by the technician, 3-0. Now he's going to try to thrust his way into a lift opportunity. Never had any exposure, no harm there for KEBISPAYEV. See the left knee on the lower lumbar area, and he will settle for just the 2 points and a 3-0 lead. If you would take a poll of the wrestling world, just in your thoughts, do you think they would like to see sudden victory, overtime back, or are people content with the criteria?
I think it's about half and half. I think, folks who grew up with overtime probably still love it. And in American folk style, you have an overtime and a criteria. But when you look at the criteria, I think it makes it exciting. Now, I could go either way. On our badges, right, we're from Switzerland. We have to be neutral. We can't have a true opinion, but I like to know what the criteria is. It's difficult sometimes when it's a last point scored, when, you get a point for passivity in place, I get a point, and it can seem a little bit subjective, but it's about half and half.
And obviously with the criteria, pacing of a day's competition is huge. I mean, some of these Greco-Roman matches, can you imagine a sudden victory and so forth? So when you look at the grand scheme of it and the sticking on schedule, just at its simplest form, criteria is the way.
One of the United States coaches, Brandon Paulson and Dennis Hall, they had, I want to say, like a 20-minute Olympic trials final match to see who made the Olympics. And it was a war. It was the longest match I ever remember. I mean, it went forever. Tournaments are on a pace. And so it's going to be 2 3-minute periods, and the rules. In the grand scheme here at this event, can you imagine how the mats would maybe
just have log jams?
Yeah, log jams and
be behind schedule all day.
Right.
Second period underway, 3-0 Turkey out in front here with Murat FIRAT.
That was a really pretty trapped arm gut that he did, and he didn't collapse the gut wrench, the trapped arm at the crook of the elbow. It was a little bit higher near the bicep, but he was able to squeeze his elbows together and get that, kind of taking that table leg away. He drove the pressure to KEBISPAYEV's shoulder, planted that in the match, and then popped his hips. Like a takedown, like a gut wrench, like any technique, everybody does it a little bit different. Kazakhstan does a really cool job on their gut wrenches. They typically don't keep their ear on top. They dive their head underneath. I've had the opportunity to work a couple of events in the United States for Journeyman Wrestling, and they have a World Classic, and the Kazakhs always bring teams, and they teach for a couple days a different 4.
And that will be 4 after nearly missing on a 2. KEBISPAYEV looking as young as he's ever looked. Great work on the top. He's going to settle with the 1-point reverse from FIRAT, but KEBISPAYEV, 33 years of age, looking like a 21-year-old with some of the chain wrestling that he ripped off just a few moments ago.
Sometimes older wrestlers a little bit smarter. He knew what he needed. That was pretty opportunistic as he came up to his feet, popped his hips on that front headlock.
KEBISPAYEV has had a really solid career. 2-time Olympian, he placed 7th in the Rio Games. And then in London, he narrowly missed the bronze medal. So he has been as good as they come in this sport, in this style for Kazakhstan. Not real flashy, doesn't come with a lot of flair, but he just wins matches.
His hand fighting and the way he's grabbing wrists and pulling on the head, he's keeping FIRAT guessing on where he is. Just getting better with age.
Turkey really wants the opportunity to go parterre. Their corner working it extremely hard. Jumps into a headlock. KEBISPAYEV gets tripped, and the official will stop that. It will be a leg trip, so they will go back into the center. Inadvertent trip.
Turkish coach is not happy right now, and he got yellow carded earlier today. He hasn't liked our officials today. And honestly, there hasn't been a call that has been wrong, but his guy has not won. And it can be frustrating as a coach to know they're just inches away or so close.
Closing moments, 20 seconds and counting. KEBISPAYEV. He was a world bronze medalist 6 years ago. At 33 years of age, he is going to capture another bronze. He takes one peek at the corner, and he has won the world bronze medal. How about that for Almat KEBISPAYEV? A huge burst from parterre, the second period difference maker.